Live from my living room in the greater Boston area, it's Aligning with the Stars. Da 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 da. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Aligning with the Stars. I am your host Aline, but you can call me Allie. What an exciting week of Dancing with the Stars that we got to see. I love Disney Night. I'm not a big fan of all the themes that they're doing this season and even last season, but Disney Night is one of those tried and true staples of Dancing with the Stars. Some of the best dances are from Disney Night all the way back into season whenever they started this, but it's been around for a while, so it's always a fun night. And it's cool to see how you'll see a lot of the same songs used over the years, but you get such different dances from them. And it's cool to see the pros' creativity and how they work with their star to make that song show their own personality, even if it has been used like 10 times before. Very fun. Before I get any further into the episode, I do want to address the elephant in the room. My eye looks a little funky today. I'm very allergic to my cat, and he was all up in my face today being Mr. Loverboy. So my eyes are all like red and irritated and swollen, so I look a little lopsided, but the show must go on. Like I said, I loved this episode. My only complaint really is that the rehearsal packages weren't rehearsal packages. They were like weird Disneyland propaganda. If I'm being completely honest, I skipped through a lot of what they were saying because I just wanted to see the dancing and the judging and the scoring. Didn't really care about their favorite rides at Disneyland and how they used to go to Disneyland all the time. Like Welcome to America. I feel like that's almost everyone's story. I loved that opening number. Mandy Moore never disappoints. She is so good. I really hope that I get to see her direct this upcoming tour for Dancing with the Stars. They announced in this episode that she was going to be the director. So I'd love to see her in that capacity. She always puts on such a great show. I loved this opening number. I thought it was so cute, so whimsical. I loved that they had like actual Disney characters there and part of it. I thought the troupe was awesome. They are killing it this season. I liked the troupe last season, but I didn't really know a lot of them. Like I knew Stephanie Sosa, but like this troupe, I know everyone but Onye coming in, and I love all of them. I think they are so incredible. My eye is always drawn to Haley Bills, who's Jenna's niece. She is going to be the next big thing on Dancing with the Stars, for sure. She is a powerhouse. In that room full of pros, I always found myself watching her. Can't wait to see her Dancing with the Stars journey. It was also fun to see Sasha back in the ballroom floor, and I wish I could like be inside his head to hear what he thinks about his treatment this season. Like he doesn't get a star, but they have him doing TikTok live streams. I saw someone point out today, like, why is Joey doing the Dancing with the Stars podcast? Why not someone like Sasha, who's an actual professional? And then they had him in this opening number. I wonder if we'll see him in more stuff throughout the season. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Okay, so let's get into our dances. We saw a lot of incredible dances. The first one was from Dylan and Daniela. They did a quick step to Life is a Highway from Cars, and they received a 7 and 2 8s for a total score of 23. There were so many quick steps this week. I think there was like 5, and there's only, 11 contestants at this point. It's a little excessive in my opinion, but whatever. Looking back, I think this dance was a little bit overscored. I think maybe 1-8 would have been fair, so even though it's only 1 point difference, I think that kind of is more in line with what they gave the rest of the dances. I still feel like I need more from him. I haven't really felt that wow factor yet. Like they've been good, and all the judges point out that he's really being a student and getting the technical side of things, which is definitely good, and the point of the show is to learn the actual technique, but also the point of the show is to go out there and have like a show-stopping, one-of-a-kind dance, and I just feel like I haven't gotten that yet from him. There has been a lot of improvement. I think he's getting more comfortable on the ballroom floor and as a leading man, and he got a lot of comments about that this week, that he was really stepping into that leading man position. They can really see that from him now. I think Bruno said that that's what a contender looks like, but I feel like he needs more energy. And I wonder if maybe it feels different when you're there live in the ballroom. Like maybe being there in person makes it feel more energetic, because I feel like the judges didn't have that same thought. But to me, through the TV screen, it just felt a little flat. I don't know. I'm having a hard time judging him. But I think he ended up in a fair placement on the leaderboard when all was said and done. After that, we saw another quick step from Danielle and Pasha. Their quick step was to I Want to Be Like You from the Jungle Book. and they received 3 sevens for a total score of 21. I honestly thought this was better than Dylan's. The second time I watched it, I don't think I agree with that take, but the first time I watched it, I felt more from her performance than I did from his performance. She was so fun and she was so in character. I thought their costumes were really awesome. I also thought Pasha was killing it. Like, he was so into that dance. I love it. I love that we get to see more of Pasha this year. I've said it a million times. I loved him with Ariana. I loved that we got to see him from beginning to end. And I don't think Danielle will be here at the end, but at least we get to see more of him this season than we did last. And it was really good choreography. Like, it was challenging, and she did mess up a bit. She did lose her timing a bit there, so maybe it was too challenging for her, or maybe this was just, she missed one step this time and it just kind of spiraled on. But I felt like she did come back to herself. I felt like it was more quick-step-y than Dylan's, but maybe, I mean, I'm not a professional, so I don't know. Maybe there was a lot of quick-step content in Dylan's, and I'm sure there was because they didn't comment on it. But from the untrained eye, this felt more like a quick-step. And I kind of thought they'd get an 8. I feel like they're underscoring her. And Carrie Ann pointed out the body contact, totally agreed. They had a really good frame. I love seeing when stars have good frame. It makes such a difference because they talk about how hard it is. So to see good frame shows that they're putting in the work. After that, Scott and Riley did a salsa to Bop to the Top from High School Musical. And they also received 3 sevens for a total score of 21. I'm a High School Musical girly to my core, so I was very excited for this one. I think from the nostalgia perspective, they killed it. Riley did such a good job with the choreography to make it both a salsa and very true to like the choreography in High School Musical. I felt like that could have been Ryan and Sharpay out there. But for Scott, he's still so stiff. I'm like, buddy, take a deep breath. You gotta loosen up. Maybe drink a beer before you go on stage. I don't know. Do something. I feel like he's definitely getting more comfortable, but it's just still not there for me. I'm waiting for that breakout moment. And I feel like the judges are kind of saying like, oh, you're getting there, this is getting better. But their comments this week were largely directed at Riley and the good content and the good choreography. I didn't really feel like they gave specific feedback to Scott. And I feel like that's a bad sign when they don't give you either like specific feedback or a specific section to work on or something. They were just kind of vague with him and then complimented Riley, which I don't think is a good sign. I was going to be really pissed if they scored higher than Danielle, so I'm glad they also got all sevens. But overall, I just need more from him. I don't know. I'm waiting for that breakout moment. It just hasn't been there. And I think it's similar to Dylan. Like, I see the potential, and I'm surprised that he's not doing as good as I expected him to do. I thought he was going to be really talented. You know, he's musical. He was in a cappella group. I feel like they have to be very, really rhythmic and in tune and stuff. And I'm not getting it from him. I did die when Derek was like, I always thought that Julianne and I were Sharpay and Ryan, but you guys are Sharpay and Ryan. But let's be real. If anyone in that ballroom is Sharpay and Ryan, is Julianne and Derek. They embody the Evans. After that, Alex and Val did a Viennese waltz to Once Upon a Time for Maleficent, and they received 3 8s for a total score of 24. Now, before I get into her actual dance, which I am so excited to talk about, I do just want to take a second to talk about what a Viennese waltz is, because this was a new style for this season, and I didn't talk about it in my last episode. As opposed to a traditional waltz, it's not as fast, but you still are in that 3-4 times. So you'll be like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and like I just did with my body, there's a lot of rise and fall. There's a lot of turning, like the pivots that they pointed out, and as it is a ballroom style, it's done in frame. I feel like that pretty much covers the basics of the Viennese waltz. So now let's get into the fabulous, incredible, show-stopping dance that Alex Earle did for us this week. This is probably my favorite dance of the season so far. Like, are you kidding me? She was so freaking good. My jaw was dropped the whole time. I could not take my eyes off of her. She was commanding that room. Derek said, like, at the top of the dance when she, right after she killed Jenna, which was so funny. I love that Jenna was involved in it in that capacity. But after she killed Jenna and she's controlling Val, like, you can tell that she's locked in, she's committed to this dance, she's in character, and she's aware of her body. And just the artistry from her in this performance was so, so incredible. And I love that this was such a different side from what we normally see of her. We normally see this bubbly girl. I mean, you probably wouldn't guess this about Alex, but she is like a little shy and introverted, and she's very kind and all this stuff. And now here she is being Maleficent and killing Val and being manipulative and controlling. Like, it was so fun, and she was so freaking good. Every movement was so good. Derek said the word mesmerizing. Totally agree. And Bruno said there was clear, real intention. It was dance as storytelling, and it was effortless. And those were just, I thought that was a really, really great way to summarize that performance. It was a challenging dance too. Like, it wasn't, spoiler alert, but we also saw a waltz from Andy, and this was so much better and harder and more impressive. And obviously there's a big age difference and a big skill difference, but just to compare those two, Alex did so incredible. I'm really, 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 really excited to see her grow. She better be in the finale or I will throw hands. I was really hoping that they would get a 9. I'm not going to say that I'm happy with all 8s because I truly believe that she deserved a 9. Also, Val looked really hot. So bonus points for that. After that, we saw yet another quick step from Hilaria and Gleb. They did their quick step to Cantina Band from Star Wars, and they received an 8, a 7, and an 8 for a total score of 23. I'm also a big Star Wars nerd, so I was really excited for this. I feel like we haven't really gotten a lot of Star Wars for Disney night. I can't think of any Star Wars dances. I don't know for this dance. It was good, and I thought last week was good, but I didn't feel the wow factor from her. I take a shot every time I've said wow factor, but there's just so many stars who need to give that little extra bit more to push them over the top. I expect so much from her because there is all that talk about, oh, she has ballroom experience, oh, she was a dancer, yada, yada, yada. I know that she has the hip injury and she has 7 kids, so there are some hurdles that she has to jump to, be a dancer again, but I just feel like they're playing it really safe. I never felt like it was a memorable routine, which you have to have memorable routines to be in this show. I thought Derek was totally fair in his criticism that, what did he say? He said that there was no breakout moment, and I totally agree. Like, I don't remember the dance at all, and I just watched it again today. I also think it's funny, Carrie Ann loves to play the as a woman card, but then she, historically underscores women, and I think it's mostly, younger women. She was really hard on Chandler last season, and so I don't know, but I also feel like she was, alluding to the fact that Hilaria was, an older woman, but I think that Carrie Ann doesn't know she's only 41. I feel like she thinks Hilaria is in her 50s, the way she was talking about that. And Bruno said that he didn't see anything wrong with the dance, and I think that goes to what we're saying of they're not taking risks. There's no wow factor. There's no breakout moment. There's nothing crazy going on. It's just a good dance. So obviously there's not going to be any mistakes with her background and just basic choreography. So I'm not really that sad that they went home. If you're going to come out here with all that ballroom experience and not get better as the season goes on, I don't really care to watch you dance anymore. If I wanted to watch professional ballroom dancers, I would just watch the pros. But if you're going to be A, annoying, B, not that good, and C, everyone complains and hates you, and I hate hearing people complain, I'm not mad that you go home. Sorry. Bye, Hilaria. After that, we had another Viennese waltz from Andy and Emma. They danced to La Fistin from Ratatouille, and they received 3 6s for a total score of 18. I mean, yeah, it was fun, it was silly, but it wasn't anything crazy. Definitely think it's his time to go. We're approaching, week 5? There's no reason that he should still be here dancing. I feel like there's a lot of other people that I want to see dance more, and we've gotten all that we can get out of Andy, so if he doesn't go home next week, I am going to be pretty upset with the people voting for him. We just got to move on from this experience. He was good, he was fun, he was warm-hearted. That's all that we can get. Emma looked really cute. It's kind of really the only thing that I have to say. I think Derek said that this was proof that anyone can dance. I feel like that was a backhanded compliment, but I did love how Derek gave really specific feedback to Andy. Thought it was a cute moment. He believes in Andy and he wants Andy to get better. So he was giving all this really specific feedback. Will Andy be able to take it? I don't know. Maybe we'll see next week, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so after Andy, Robert and Whitney went. They did a cha-cha to Try Anything from Zootopia. They received 2 7s and an 8 for a total score of 22. I was honestly really disappointed with this dance. I think Robert has a lot of potential, but I haven't seen that much improvement from him. He came out really, really strong with that jive, and I feel like he's been plateauing a bit. I said that last week, and I was hoping this week maybe it would be different, but it still wasn't. And Carrie Ann mentioned something that I thought was a really great point, that it looks like he's posing as he gets to each step and like flexing a bit and not like flowing through the movement. So he's thinking step by step by step rather than the complete movement flow. It's like if he's thinking about each individual word in a sentence and not how the sentence works together. So I really hope that he takes that feedback into next week. I think if he can take and apply that, it's going to put him over the edge. But right now, he's just getting in his own way with his body. He needs to be more in tune with his body, how it moves in dance, how all the pieces flow together, and then I think he can be really great. That jive that he did week 1 was so incredible, so we know that he can do it, just waiting for those small corrections. I did see a TikTok from Whitney saying that this week they didn't pick the song and it was hard to choreograph a cha-cha to it. Sure, whatever, but I still feel like even if maybe the choreography was a little better, Robert still would be struggling with this posing issue and it still would fall a bit flat. I thought that him coming down the pole was super crazy and random, did not think that was necessary. I feel like he's cutting his movements too short, and Derek also commented on that. When I watched it back the second time, I didn't think it was as bad as I did the first time, but like I said, the expectation for him is so high that it's hard when he comes out with the dance that's worse than his best one. You know, usually you expect just forward movement, maybe they have a little dip back, but for the most part you expect that forward movement and their improvement, and I don't know, it's been very static and maybe even downhill since week 1. So hopefully next week he takes those corrections, he applies them, and comes out even stronger. After that, Elaine and Alan blessed us with yet another quick step to the Space Mountain theme song, and they received 3 8s for a total score of 24. Elaine, I love you. That was so good. Oh my God. People keep saying that Andy is the reason the show was created, that he embodies the Dancing with the Stars spirit. I disagree. I think that's Elaine. She's only 4 years younger than him, and look at their difference in dancing. She scored, 6 points higher than him this week, and they're only 4 years apart. She's 54. And I know that she has some dance experience from when she was younger, but she was hit by a car and hasn't danced in what appears to be decades. So, you know, it's a little more familiar to her, but it's just so awesome what she is doing. She goes out there and she has so much energy. She's owning that stage. You can see the joy on her face. I love joy and movement. Like, there is nothing better than watching people dancing and like being able to tell that they love to be there dancing. And that's what you get from Elaine. I'm begging everyone listening to please vote for Elaine. She needs to stay here. I would honestly love to see her in the finale. But if we can't bring her to the finale, at least bring her to the semifinals. Who knows, maybe this year they'll do it again where they don't actually eliminate anyone in the semifinals and they take 5 through. She's definitely 1,000% in my top 5 right now. So please vote for her. I'm gonna be pissed if they go home early. Alan's freaking alien costume was crazy. This must be a new thing for Alan because last year he was the donkey. This year he's the alien. Love that he keeps dressing up for Halloween. Very fun. Or not Halloween, excuse me. For Disney Week. Very fun. That his choreography was great too because what they were doing wasn't easy stuff. You know, even though she's on the older side for contestants, she's 54, they don't downplay the choreography. It's as hard as what some of the 20-year-olds are doing. And she's 54. She's 54 and she's doing that. So, I mean, it's just so impressive. I was really happy to see them get all 8s. They were in the top 3 this week, just 1 point away from being in first place. So incredible. And I loved that they did the Space Mountain song. I thought that was fun because she has the connection to being the newscaster in this Space Mountain preview or like pre-ride show or whatever. A lot of people were upset. They were like, oh, why isn't she doing like one of her Disney movies like Parent Trap? But I feel like this is a lot more fun. I loved how excited everyone got after their dance, both like Alan and Elaine and the whole audience. I literally got chills from the audience reaction. Derek said he felt like he was on the roller coaster with them, and I totally agree. And I felt like that was really in the spirit of Disney night. And then at the end, when Elaine said, I am walking proof that your dreams may not go as you planned them, but that doesn't mean that they are not happening. I got chills when she said that. I was with Julianne tearing up. That is just so beautiful. I love this journey for her, and I want to see them dance every week. I need that joy in my life. And speaking of joy in my life, after Elaine and Alan went, we saw Whitney and Mark do a foxtrot to The Room Where It Happens from Hamilton. They received a 9 and 2/8 for a total score of 25. We saw our first 9 of the season. I think it was a very well-deserved 9, but I do think that the first 9 should have gone to Alex. I thought, when they held up all 8s for her, I was like, oh, maybe they're not doing 9s this week. But then when they gave Whitney and Mark the 9, I was like, can we go back and edit Alex's score? Because that was definitely 9 material, in my opinion. I was also very, very excited for this dance because I love Hamilton. I'm seeing it on Broadway in a couple weeks with Leslie Odom Jr., so I was like triple excited to see Whitney and Mark and Hamilton and a Burr song. Like the perfect trio for me. I was very thrown off by the mix though, because I know this song like the back of my hand. So every time they were cutting, I was like, oh, I was cooking there. Like let me speak, please. But that's besides the point. Whitney and Mark 8 per usual. This is also my official petition to get Mark Ballas on Broadway as Hamilton. I think he would kill that. He was already on Broadway in Jersey Boys, so he has the Broadway actor experience already. Let's get that man as Hamilton, please. I would pay some serious money to see that. I thought it was very dynamic and very fun. Derek mentioned texture, and I thought that was such a good word for them. And I feel like their movement quality, the fact that they are very textured in their dancing, that separates them from a lot of the other stars who might not have that, next step yet. I think someone like Robert is struggling with texture. He's doing the posing and not the moving from one piece to another. And with that, you're kind of hitting everything at the same level. You're not playing with the texture, you're not playing with your levels, you're not playing with your energy. And they definitely do that. And that makes them look stronger than just a normal pro and star pairing. It kind of almost looks pro and pro, which some people are like, oh, Whitney, she has dance experience, she's like pretty much a pro. She has a degree in modern dance from BYU. Very different from ballroom. I thought it was very precise and very technical. I love that Mark can push the boundaries of what they can do in the foxtrot without taking away anything from the foxtrot. Sharna, who's a former pro, she broke this down a bit on TikTok because a lot of people were like, well, they were in frame the whole time. And she was saying on Dancing with the Stars, they now do what they call American Smooth style. So they can break frame for a while. Whereas like in Strictly, they don't do that. They do a classic foxtrot. So you're not supposed to break. So like in this one, Mark and Whitney had like a little jazz break, but the rest was a foxtrot. Sorry if he's more creative than the other pros and can push those boundaries without stepping over. I saw a lot of people being like, oh, they called out Gleb for not being like having all that quick step content. Oh, Derek just doesn't want to call him out because they're best friends. But I don't think that's it. I think he is still staying true to the style while also making it very creative. I think that's one of Mark's strengths. At the end of the day, this isn't just a competition of the stars. It's also the pros' responsibility to put forward creative choreography that highlights their stars. So, obviously, if you get paired with Mark, you have a bit of an advantage, but that just means the other pros need to step it up if people are going to complain about that. Sorry to all the Whitney haters, but I love them, and I won't stand for any Mark slander if you cannot tell. At the end of the day, I'm here to watch this show for good dancing, not for, I love my storylines, but at the end of the day, I want good dancing. After that, we saw another quick step from Jordan and Ezra. They danced to Special Spice from Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They received 3/8 for a total score of 24. She looked so pretty, both in her costume and in her stage presence. I said this last week, but I'm still so excited to see Ezra still in the competition with a real contender, showcasing his choreography skills. I know I gave him a bit of criticism after week 1 that he needed to not worry about those viral TikTok moments. And I think that, he's not doing that anymore. I think he is really creating good dances. I loved their frame. I thought their footwork was really good. I thought they had great musicality. They were really gliding across the floor. My mom said that Jordan has that gymnast strength, but not the stiffness that a lot of gymnasts might struggle with because they are so strong. So she's able to be like both vivacious and elegant. I think that's something that the judges said. She's really good at having two contrasting dynamics and not having them fighting each other, but having them working together to put out a really strong dance. Carrie Ann mentioned that her dancing is authentic, and I totally agree. This is like going to be a weird way of phrasing it, but it doesn't look like a performance. It looks like you are just walking upon this moment that's actually happening in time. Do you know what I mean? Don't know if you do. But that takes us to our last dance of the evening. We saw Jen and Jan, and they did a jazz to Friend Like Me from Aladdin. They received a 7 and 2/8 for a total score of 23. I honestly think that they were hurt by having a jazz dance rather than a typical ballroom or Latin style. I think a lot of people have been criticizing Jan for maybe not having the best choreography. It's like a lot of lifts and tricks and like throwing Jen in the air. But when you have a jazz dance, that's kind of what they do on Dancing with the Stars. So for jazz, this was a good jazz piece. But I think a lot of people want to see more from them. So I feel like, I mean, maybe it's good that they got the jazz out of the way and they don't have to do it again. But I feel like people are still waiting for that like good, clean, precise, specific ballroom dance from them. Not that it was bad. I think she's always very, very fun to watch. She has a smile on her face the whole time. You can really tell that she's enjoying them herself. I feel like they have a really good dynamic together. They're going out there to have a good time. Maybe they don't care what other people think. They know that they're putting their best foot forward. But I do feel like it was a little juvenile, and the judges commented, specifically Carrie Ann said that it needs to be more challenging. And I think that she could do it. I feel like you could have given that dance to young dance students and they would be able to do it. So I want to see that more challenging choreography because I think she is totally capable of it. So hopefully they'll take that feedback into next week. Wrapping it all up, in the end, we said goodbye to Hilaria. Like I said, not really super upset that she's going home. A lot of people complained about her. Now she's gone and we don't have to listen to those people complain. I did think she was a little annoying, and I'm glad that I think they were alluding to the fact that Alec was going to be in her dedication dance, and I think that would have gotten a lot of people up in arms, so I'm just glad we avoided all that drama. I just want to watch my stars dance. I don't really care what people have to think about the individuals, like just let them dance. So now that that's out of the way, I can fully enjoy it. I didn't watch her interview after they get eliminated. I can't really watch those. I get so stressed and like secondhand embarrassment from it because it's so fresh. And a lot of the times they don't expect it, so they give like snarky comments. I can't stand watching those. My top 3 for this week were Alex, Whitney, and Jordan. Elaine is very close to my top. She's definitely number 4. I honestly think that next week she could push herself up into the top 3. I really, really love her. I'm only going to do a bottom 2 this week because I feel like the people that I've like gone back and forth about putting in the 3rd spot don't belong in the bottom. So just going to give my bottom 2. Probably no surprise to anyone, my bottom 2 are Scott and Andy. If either of those people go home next week, I won't be upset. I think either them or maybe Danielle I think is at risk, but hopefully Andy or Scott. So usually I would end the episode here, but I actually have decided to combine. I really wanted to do a looking ahead episode, but it's just a lot to figure out when to record 2 episodes a week. So I wanted to take some time at the end of the episode here to look ahead into next week's show, which is Dedication Night. This is one of my favorite nights of Dancing with the Stars. It's kind of replaced Most Memorable Year, but like Most Memorable Year, it just is a moment for the stars to reflect on the important people in their lives, maybe not, their rise to fame or crazy moments that have happened to them in their career, but a moment to reflect on their friends and their family and their loved ones. It's always a very emotional night. You always get a lot of really great dances because people can connect to the story better. So I'm really excited. And a heads up, my next episode will come out a lot later. I'm going to be unable to film until either Sunday or Monday, so it'll come out right before the episode. I appreciate everyone who will still watch. Thank you for bearing with me as I figure this all out. But anywho, as I said, this is Dedication Night. The only new style that we will see this week will be contemporary. In contemporary, there's not really a lot of strict rules around what you can do. Contemporary can look like a lot of different things. It can have a lot of different music to it. The pros really get like a lot of freedom in this. It's just, I think the common theme that you'll see throughout this is it's very emotional. Okay, so let's get into what we're going to see next week. We're going to see 4 couples doing contemporary. We'll see a contemporary from Alex and Val, and that will be to Sparks by Coldplay, and it's going to be dedicated to her younger sister, Isabel. I love the whole Earl family. Like I said, I follow Alex on TikTok. They have like a really close family with, varying ages. I think Alex is the oldest, and they have she has young siblings under 10. And it just seems like a very loving environment. So I feel like this is going to be very emotional, maybe a lot of tears. I'm really excited to see her dance in this capacity. Like she really tapped into her character this week and her artistry. So I think she'll be able to show her artistry even more with a contemporary dance. Hoping maybe we'll get that 9 for Alex this week. So fingers crossed. Dylan and Daniela will also be doing a contemporary to Rewrite the Stars from The Greatest Showman, aka his brother's song. How exciting is that? This dance will be dedicated to his younger sister, Olivia. So she will also be in that. I can't wait to see what Daniela does with this. I wonder if they're going to play around with silks, like how Zach's character and Zendaya's character do in The Greatest Showman. I also wonder if Zach will be in the audience this week. Maybe we'll see a little Zac Efron action. Fingers crossed. I am cautiously optimistic about this. I think since he is able to connect more with the dance, he'll be able to add the extra oomph that we are looking for, the extra emotion, the personality. So I feel like this could be his breakout moment. Fingers crossed. So I really want the best for him. I love Daniela and I love the Efrons as a concept, so gotta root for Dylan Efron. Robert and Whitney will also be doing a contemporary to You Will Be in My Heart by Phil Collins, and it's going to be dedicated to his mom, Terry. You wonder if there will also be some sort of dedication to his father as a part of this dance. And speaking of, I highly recommend checking out Bindi and Derek's contemporary dance that was dedicated to her father. Just very beautiful, very emotional, definitely worth a watch. I think he will really need to focus on Carrie Ann's comments about not posing, as his contemporary should be very flowy, very, you shouldn't really see the separation of steps. So hopefully this is also a step forward for him, hoping this dance meets my expectations. Be on the lookout for some awesome lifts from Whitney. She loves doing that. Last year during dedication night, her and Danny Amendola had a lift that went viral on TikTok, so maybe we'll get a moment like that again from them. Lastly, Whitney and Mark are giving us a contemporary to Heal by Jamal Roberts, and it will be dedicated to her husband, Connor. I could not be more excited for this. Mark and Charlie did a really incredible contemporary when they had their season, and I get chills still thinking about it to this day. So you know that Mark is going to put something really, really incredible forward, and with Whitney's dance background, she'll definitely be able to do some really challenging stuff, so I'm very excited for this. And I think they're going to tap into the issues that her and Connor, her husband, have faced throughout the years, both together and separately, and how they have overcome those together. So I think it's going to be really emotional and powerful and healing for her. So I think maybe we'll see a 10. I don't know if they give out 10s week 5, but I think this would be the moment that we would see it. It's going to be a really strong dance, and she already got that 9, so I wouldn't be surprised. We're also going to see a couple foxtrots. There's going to be one from Elaine and Alan and one from Scott and Riley. Elaine and Alan's will be to This Will Be an Everlasting Love by Natalie Cole, and it'll be dedicated to her best friend and co-star Lisa Ann Walter, who has been in the audience each and every week, and I love watching her cheer for Elaine. I love their friendship so much. I've loved this journey for Elaine. I think that them sharing it on stage together is going to be really emotional, and I just think it's going to be beautiful. I believe this is a nod to The Parent Trap, which they co-starred in together. And I'm pretty sure I'll cry at this dance. I cry pretty easily, especially watching dances. There's something so special about it. I know that feeling of telling a powerful story through dance, or just doing something you love and getting so emotional about it. So watching other people do that makes me cry. It's going to be a celebration of their friendship and their love. And I just think it's going to be so beautiful. I really, really, really hope that she gets a 9 this week. I think seeing her get a 9 would also make me cry. I just love her. Scott and Riley's Foxtrot will be to Scott's own song, Parallel, and it's going to be dedicated to his husband, Mark. Fun that he's doing his own song, but I fear that may be a bad omen this season because Lauren got sent home while doing her own song. Based off of what he's given us so far, I don't really think this is going to be anything crazy. I think the stiffness issues are going to be very apparent in this. They're coming back to a ballroom style for the first time since week 1, so he hasn't had to do anything in frame since that first week. So I think that's going to be a big struggle for him. I think he's going to be in the bottom again this week. I wouldn't be completely shocked if he went home, but I do think that the Riley fangirl votes are going to keep them in for a little bit longer. But who knows, maybe the Riley vote won't outweigh the Andy vote, and maybe they'll go home. Wouldn't be upset either way. Sorry, Scott. We're also going to see another 2 Viennese waltzes from Jen and Jan and Jordan and Ezra. Both of these dances are definitely going to make me cry, and you'll see why. Jen and Jan's will be to Rescue by Lauren Dage and is going to be dedicated to her mother, Maria. I just already know that this dance is going to be so emotional, and I love my mom so much, so anything dedicated to people's moms makes me think of my mom, and it makes me cry just thinking about how much I love her, and I'm very appreciative to have her in my life, and I think that's what this dance is going to be about, so it's going to make me tear up for sure. It's going to be a very different side of Jen, something that we have not seen yet on the dance floor. We've seen them do a salsa, a quick step, a cha-cha, and a jazz, so those were all very fun and upbeat, and this is going to be like a total contrast to them. But I'm really excited to see this side, and I hope they take into account Carrie Ann's comments on making it more challenging. That might be a little hard with the waltz because it is, I don't know, it's not slow. The Viennese waltz is faster than a normal waltz, but it's not like one of those showy dances. So I wonder if people are still going to be like, oh, you need to make it more challenging, even if it technically was, because it might not read as challenging. But we'll see. I think this could be a breakout performance for her. Hoping for a big week from a lot of our stars. And Jordan and Ezra's dance is going to be to Daughters by John Mayer and dedicated to her father, Timothy. And this is also going to make me cry because I love my dad. So they're really tapping into the audience's heartstrings this week. With Jordan's tango, we got to see a serious side of her. And with her quick step, we got to see that elegant side of her. So I think with this waltz, we're going to see a combination of that seriousness and that elegance. And I think it's going to be a really, really interesting dynamic from her. I expect to see some 9s for her, and I'm really excited. Ezra will be getting his first 9 of his career. I think that would be really fun, hopefully. But yeah, I'm excited for them. The last 2 dances that we're going to see is a salsa from Andy and Emma and a jive from Danielle and Pasha. I think they both have a disadvantage here because they have those upbeat dances for what's typically a very emotional night. I think that might hurt their scores a bit and might hurt their fan vote too. People might not relate to it as much. Andy and Emma's salsa will be to Jump in the Line by Harry Belafonte. Oh God, don't come at me. I didn't know that. And it's going to be dedicated to his daughter Cornelia. I don't think this is going to be great in terms of content. Salsa does not seem like it's going to be his strong suit, but as usual, I expect something enjoyable and heartwarming. I think this is definitely his time to go. The competition is only going to get steeper from here, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep up. So, love you, Andy, but this is probably your last week. Unless people are crazy and keep voting for you, but please stop voting for him. Danielle and Pasha's jive is going to be to the Boy Meets World theme song, super fun, and will be dedicated to her Boy Meets World co-star, William Daniels. I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be very fun to watch. Her quick step this week was really enjoyable, and I think her and Pasha are going to be able to keep that energy and that fun attitude going in the jive. I'm excited to see how they use William's character in this. He's on the older side for sure. He played the mentor figure in Boy Meets World, but I think it's going to be really cute and wholesome. She's going to get that nostalgia factor going for a lot of people. But unfortunately, I think she is towards the bottom of the leaderboard, so I think this week, again, she's going to be towards that bottom, but maybe they'll surprise us this week. I do feel like she was underscored for Disney night, so maybe she'll also have a breakout night. I don't know. I wish the best from all of them. Unless you're Scott and Andy, then I would like to see you go home. But that is all for this week's episode. I will see you all next time for dedication night. As a reminder, it's going to be coming out on the later side because I won't be able to film until right before Tuesday's episode. But in the meantime, make sure to subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one. And I'll see you guys later.